If you're in the market for a budget Android phone, you could consider this one. This is the Sony Xperia Tipo, and with a box price of 9499, this one is pretty much set to be, at least as far as buying decisions are concerned, this will possibly be on the consideration list of quite a few people. This one's powered by 800 MHz single core processor, has 512 MB of RAM. There's 2.5 GB of internal memory available for the user, plus a micro SD slot up to 32 GB. And it has a 3.2-inch display. But the most important, the most critical bit, and the best thing about this phone is that it comes with Android ICS out of the box. So you don't have to sit waiting for an update, or worst case scenario, you are not buying a phone which will not get updated to ICS. Let's run you through the build quality of this phone. Straight out of the box, quite frankly, we were very surprised about how classy this phone looks. It has absolutely no typical budget elements to it. There doesn't seem to be any cost cutting. On the front is the display with 3 touch sensitive keys below it: return, home, as well as options. What Sony has done here is blended the design of the bezel and the rest of the body color. So it looks really nice once the body color starts from here. By the way, this is available in multiple colors, 4 colors: white, black, blue and red. So you could pick up any of these. It has a slightly shiny enamel finish on the front, but the moment we turn it back, the battery cover has a completely non-shiny matte finish. That's very interesting because this one won't get any scratches. Even if you keep it in your pocket, which also has a pen, let's say a car keys, some coins, etc. That's the little speaker on the back. On this side we have the micro USB slot. This side is the volume rocker with the same color as the rest of the body. On the top is the power key and the 3.5mm jack. While this phone is slightly thicker than what we expected it to be, the interesting bit, the critical bit is it is not heavy at all. We could probably prop this up next to a pencil to kind of show you how thick this phone is in comparison to that, to give you an idea. But all in all, very well built, looks very good. If you're using this in front of your friends or in front of acquaintances, they will not feel that this is a budget smartphone. And for this amount of money, that does say a lot. We must praise Sony for the efforts that they have put in at least optimizing the UI to work well with this particular hardware. Considering there is not a lot of power on tap here, the Timescape UI on this one, it's a miracle that it's almost exactly the same version that we have seen on the more expensive Xperia phones. Albeit it's replicated on a smaller display. You get the same full variety of widgets on it, which is quite a lot considering the smartphone doesn't cost much. Incidentally, with this particular UI, we do not get any stutter, typical to what we sometimes find in, let's say, an HTC Sense, for example, on a budget phone. Now, there are performance issues for this phone, which is limited to the extent that with this particular processor and this much amount of RAM, you can't open too many apps in the background. So during our testing, we had 3 apps open in the background. One was Gtalk, one was Facebook, and one was WhatsApp, and that was fine. But the moment you open more apps and leave them open in the background, that's when the phone will slow down, that's when you start feeling the stutters. Being ICS, you can easily close apps from here, swiping, but in case you don't, you will immediately know there's something open in the background that you need to figure out. As far as Timescape is concerned, this one is very smooth. It's got a lot of widgets deployed at the moment and we don't see any stutter at all. The app drawer is pretty similar to, again, what we've seen on more expensive Xperia smartphones. A lot of preloaded apps on this one, something that we may not really appreciate, but it's there if users need it. It's quite a good display. Incidentally, there is no automatic brightness setting for this one, so you'll have to set it to one extent and just leave it there. However, the disappointing bit is that the touch is not very consistent throughout. So you will find phases when it either suddenly selects something that you did not want to select, or you were just scrolling through the apps and suddenly one app is open, or you'll have to probably stab it a couple of times for it to work. But that's very rare, probably something that can be solved with a future software update. All in all, for this price, well under 10,000 rupees, this is a phone you can consider, particularly because this has the latest, almost the latest Android OS on it.